Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Member 365 webinar on surveys and voting. Hear from your members. Just a few housekeeping items. Everyone will be muted, but if you have any questions at the bottom of your screen, please feel free to jot down your answers because at the end of this webinar, we will be entertaining or addressing any of your questions. And we will be recording this session and posting it on our help section on your dashboard. Okay. That way you can look back and check any points that you want to recall regarding this webinar, regarding these two modules. And everyone in attendance, we will be sending a copy of the video. Okay. My name is Carlo McDangle. I'm a customer success coach here in Member 365. I will be your host in this afternoon's webinar as well. I believe in the maxim that your success is our success because these webinars are designed to help our clients, help them succeed in managing your membership, especially using the various modules or features of the program. So we want you to succeed in any of the modules that you're using. Okay. Being able to collect information quickly and easily is essential for any membership organization, and an effective interface for building and distributing forms is the best way to do so. And fortunately, your program, Member 365, includes a variety of ways to create forms and even more ways to use the information you collect them. And one of these forms is the surveys and the vote form. Okay. So what's in store for this webinar? What's the agenda? We will be discussing the difference between surveys and votes, how to create a survey and a vote, how to invite your contacts, how do contacts access the forms, then how to view the reports, and what are the best practices. And last but not least, if you have any questions, we will be addressing them at the end of this webinar. Okay. What is a survey form? From the name itself, a survey gathers information from a set of people with the purpose of what? Generalizing the results to a larger population. Surveys provide a significant source of data and insights from your members or non-members alike. So once you decide what questions you're going to ask your contacts and members, you'll want to be sure that your survey, of course, is working properly. And then afterwards, you'll want to analyze the results. Okay. Now, what about a vote form? A vote form or voting is a method that you would want to use, which is more formal than a survey. It has specific rules and procedures to determine a specific outcome. It can, of course, be a different question formatting than a survey. For example, if your organization was looking to elect a new president for your organization, you would not use a survey. You want to use a vote form, which is anonymous. Then there you go. That's the major difference between a survey form and a vote form is the report. On the report, a vote form is anonymous. It will not show you who casted the vote versus a survey form. If it's completed within the program, within Member 365, then the system will show you who actually completed the survey. And later on, when we test the form, I'll show you another way where the survey can be accessed outside of the member portal, but it will become anonymous in terms of how the report will present it to yourself. Okay. So let's go ahead and create a survey. Okay. Or a vote form. Okay. So let me head over to Member 365 CRM. Okay. The survey and vote form are actually found in their modules, surveys and votes. You may be wondering, I know that forms are in here. Yes, other forms are actually in here. We've separated surveys and votes mainly because these are forms that are mostly used by most of our clients. That way it's easy to actually access and see them right away. If you don't see this module, it's probably because your permission as an admin does not allow you to. If that's the case, reach out to your fellow admins. All they need to do is go to contacts, go to view administrators, and, and then pull open your name. Okay. And then under permissions, under administration tab, you just have to scroll down all the way at the bottom. Surveys and votes is actually below the page. Here it is, surveys and voting. All they have to do is click on these modules, these boxes, and that way you'll have access as an admin on these modules to create, update, delete a survey, and look at the reports. Don't forget to click on the save button to commit the changes. Okay. So reach out to your admin so that you can have access to the surveys and votes module. So we go to modules, surveys and votes, and then click create new. And the system will bring us to this page where we choose what form we need to create. The creation of survey and vote are very much identical. I promise you that. The only difference is that piece of information regarding reports. Vote forms are anonymous. They won't show you who casted the vote. But in terms of setting up, they're identical. So in this webinar, let's create a survey form. If you click on create button, it'll bring us to this page with different setup tabs, blank, of course, which we need to fill up. Okay. But for this webinar, I already created one. So we'll just have to pull up the one that I created and let's review it. It's much easier than starting one from scratch. So again, we go to modules, surveys and votes, and click manage. It'll bring us to the page where it lists down all the surveys and votes that we've created. Okay. So let's pull up the feedback form. Okay. And by the way, in this page, when you're here, it's another way of creating a new vote form or survey by clicking on the create button in here. Let's click feedback form. This is the form that I created for this webinar. And of course, like I said, on the create tab or page, very synonymous, right? The first setup tab is the setup tab. Okay. Okay. And this is where we enter the name of this survey form and choose which category it should be in or a subcategory. You can even add a category or a subcategory. If you have any forms, it's easier to actually group them into those folders or categories. Lock form. Do you want to lock this survey? Now, what's the purpose of locking this form? It prevents accidental erasure from fellow admins. If we go back to this page, you notice that the feedback form has no box in here for us to check, mainly because it's locked. Okay. If it's unlocked, okay, you will see a box in here. Just like the company evaluation survey form, there's a box in here where if I checked it, then we can delete it. Okay. An admin can delete it. Okay. Now, the reason why we put this button in here is what I've said a while ago to prevent accidental erasure from a fellow admin. If they're on this page and they would want to delete this, any survey or vote form, they will need to open it up, go to the setup tab, and disable this. So 3 extra steps that they need to do. That way they know what they're doing. They're conscious of what they're doing to delete a survey, knowing the repercussions of deleting a survey. That will impact the report. Once an admin deletes a survey, that will, of course, delete the reports, which we cannot recover, unfortunately. So that's the reason for the lock form button. Share form submission. So if this is disabled, that means all results of this form will only be accessed by administrators. If this is turned on, and then you'll notice this extra tab on top appears, you're telling the system, I want to share the results of this survey form to either members of this membership category that I'm checking off in this tab, or based on the name of their organization, or based on a contact demographic that appears on their profile, or I can cherry pick a contact where I want to share the results of this form. But if you don't want to share the results of this form other than your administrators, then you need to disable this button. Okay. These radio buttons with question mark radio buttons are actually tips and ideas that will help you how these toggle and features work. They are scattered among these modules on their setup sections. It'll definitely help you. So just hover your mouse cursor and each of these question mark button. They will guide you accordingly. When do you open the survey? Okay. When do you want contacts to start completing this survey? Okay. And when do you intend to close it? Okay. So there will be an expiry date for this survey. Okay. Then the second tab will be the messages tab. These two sections in here, the instructions, it's an on-screen display that pops up whenever they take the survey. You will just need to convey some special instruction on how or why they need to take on this survey. Okay. And the second one will be the submit message, basically thanking them for submitting the survey and what to expect from the membership for taking the survey, how this survey can be of value for you as an administrator. Okay. And the second tab will be the question and answers tab. This is the meat of the form where if you click on Launch Form Editor, it will show you the features of the questions features that you may want to use. Okay. The text input will be something that you're asking your respondents, and then they're typing an open response to a text field. Like in this case, what do you like most about the event? All you need to do is drag it on the screen and click on the setup button, and then this is where you type the questions. Okay, and then click save question. Okay, this is what we did on this text input type of question. If we click on setup, I type, what do you like most about the event? Okay, let's delete that. Okay. The second one is a date picker if you want to collect specific dates from your contacts and doing the survey. A memo text area is synonymous with a text input, but it provides a wider field of typing or writing down the response. If you want to collect email address, okay, you can use this email address confirm option. If you want to collect documents from them that they need to upload, use this file option. Okay. For questionnaires, these are most widely used. The radio buttons vertical and radio buttons horizontal or checkbox. Okay. The radio buttons, just like the drop-down single, in drop-down single, it does not present the multiple choice answers on this format on the same page, but it has a field where you can click it and a drop-down of multiple choice of answers will appear. The radio buttons and the drop-down single will allow your respondents to choose only one response. But if you're allowing them to choose more than one response, then you would want to use the checkbox option. So in this case, again, radio buttons is actually the horizontal one was the one used in here. Click on the setup tab and you type in, okay, your question and then the possible answers in this answer box in here. Okay. Once you enter a specific response, all you have to do is click add answer and it will be added accordingly. Okay. If you have a long list of possible answers, you just have to paste them in here. It makes your life easier. Copy them from your Word document and paste them in here and click save question rather than adding them individually. On the add section button. Okay, let's click cancel. Okay, and make this, tell the system if this question is mandatory or not. Okay, properties section is important as well. You want this to be included in the list builder and include in the form analytics. We recommend turning this on. That way, when you produce a report, the results of or the responses on this question will show up in the reports. Okay. Again, don't forget to click on the save question button and then click save and then the publish button as well. Okay. Now the access. Oh, one thing to note on creating questions is to keep your questions simple and short. Ask questions that will be useful. Probably ask yourself, how will I use this information? And will this be of value in analyzing the results of this survey? And use quantitative questions that are like more direct and concise for analytics and segmentation for ease of analyzing the report of a survey. Okay. Now, the access points. Okay. This section is where you want to provide contacts access to the survey that you've set up. It can be based on a membership category. If you check any membership category, that means anyone under this group membership can access this survey in the member portal. Or it can be based on, again, organization categories or any contact demographic that exists or that are checked off on their profile. Or you can cherry pick a contact again, anyone that you want to access this form. Okay. Or it can be based on list access. The list actually is a report generating tool that Member 365, your program, has, where it produces a report of contacts based on specific criterias. And you can choose from among the list that you created in this drop down. That way you can identify, pinpoint certain contacts that you want to complete this survey. Yeah. Public link. So if you want this survey to be completed outside of the member portal, okay, like you want it to reside on your public website, you can grab this embed code, okay, or this link, share it with your webmaster so they can dedicate a page or an area in your site where they can access the survey. Just a note, when someone completes a survey outside of the member portal, again, the system will not be able to account who completed the survey of the member portal. It will show up as a web submission detail. Later on, I'll show you how it would look like on the report. Okay. One thing, okay, the other piece that's important as well is the alerts and reminders. Okay. On the alerts, do you want to give out alerts for contacts to take the survey? This needs to be toggled on. Adding alert to member portal dashboard. You can put on a message in here. I'll show you how it looks like later on. And then click send invitation to contacts if you want the system to send an email to everyone who was given access to the survey within the member portal. You will need to, formulate the content of your email as well as your subject line. Okay. That way, they will be alerted that a survey needs to be completed. Okay. Okay. Submission email. When someone submits a survey, aside from the pop-up screen that'll thank them for taking the survey, an email will be sent to them as well. And you can, of course, write in your subject line and the content of your email. Okay. And you can even turn this on, adding their form responses to the bottom of the submission email. That's an option as well. Email reminders, you can add reminders to those that have yet to take the survey. Okay. You can send a reminder to go out, say, 5 days after the survey has been published. Then you can add more, like 6 days, 7 days. And know that this will be sent only to those that have not completed the survey yet. If you're tracking continuous education hours, you can assign some credits for those who took the survey. Okay. Now, how do contacts access the survey form? One is through the member portal. Okay. So in my case, I gave myself access to this form. I log into the member portal. Okay. And there are two areas where I can access the form. If you recall, I created a badge alert. The badge are in here, actually, in the right side. Okay, there are two badge, renewal badge and the test badge. And if I click on the arrow, here it is, the feedback form, right? I click on the link to take it now, and the system will bring us to the form itself to actually take the survey. Another area where I can access the form is by going to the Forms tab and click the Forms sub-tab in here. Here's where I see the analytics of the form or the reports. If I provide access to someone other than admin, then they will see analytics as well in here to see the results of this form. I'm an admin, that's why I automatically see it. Okay. So I click Forms, and then the system will bring me to all the forms that I have access to complete. Okay. And in this case, I see the feedback form survey that I created. I'll just click on it, and the system will, again, bring us to this form. If you want to share the link for them to access the form within the member portal, you can share them this link. Okay. It'll bring them specifically to this form. What I recommend sending the general link under the forms. That way they can see other forms as well that they're requested to complete. So just share this link, okay, instead of the specific form link. That way, if you have other forms that are due to be completed by a contact, they will all see them in here. Okay. So let's test this survey form. Okay. I'm clicking it, and then I'll click start survey now. And then I'll rate the event as 5, being 5 the highest. I love the topics in the event. Okay. And then I'll click submit. And there you go. That's the submission notification. So that's how you access the survey within the member portal. However, how do you access it outside of the member portal? Again, if you go to the survey itself, the feedback form, there is that section where in the access tab where we grab the public link, assuming that you send this to your contacts, and then they access it outside of the member portal. Let me paste this on a different tab. Okay. And then I'll access the survey. Okay. Love the venue. Okay. And then click submit. And there you go. I submitted the form outside of the member portal. Okay. Now, how to view the reports? How does it look like? So we go to the modules, surveys and votes, and in this time, view results. It'll bring us to a page where it loads all your forms. And of course, the form that we were discussing, feedback form, all you have to do is click on it, and the system will bring you to this page. Details are the ones that submitted the form. The pending tab are those that have yet to complete the survey. And the summary tab gives you a graphical representation of the responses. Okay. On the details tab, you'll see myself who completed the survey within the member portal. Okay. You'll see my name, and you can click view to view my answers. Okay. Those that submitted the survey form outside of the member portal, you will see them as web submission. As mentioned a while ago, mainly because it was submitted outside of the member portal using the public link, then the system will not account for their names. But you can view the results. And like I said a while ago, another way around this is when you set up the questions, collect the names as well and their email address. That way, although you're allowing them to complete it outside of the program, when you click on view, you'll be able to see who completed the survey in here. So on a vote form, you will see every submitter or voter to be a web submission on the name. Like I said, it's anonymous, and that's the essence of the vote form, to preserve its integrity by virtue of its name. Okay. And then you can export this to Excel as well, and the system will give you that specific report. Okay. So what are the best practices in terms of setting up your questions? Keep them simple and short, and ask yourself, how will I use this information, the results of this specific question or a form? Okay. Second, the best practice is ask quantitative questions. Use quantitative questions that are more direct and concise for ease of analytics, segmentations, and analysis. And last but not least is ensure that you toggle send invitation to contacts on before publishing your vote or survey. That way, those that you given access will be sent an email reminding them that a survey needs to be completed. Okay. Okay. Do we have any questions? Please write them down on the Q&A section below your Zoom page. There's another question. How do you test this form? One way of testing this form is to create a survey and then limit the access only to yourself. Okay. If we go back to the feedback form under access tab, okay, just limit access only to yourself. Go to contacts and put your name in here. Then you're the only one who can access this form in the meantime. Just like how I did it, that's one way of testing it, okay? Then when you're done testing it, when you're ready to roll it out, okay, either you duplicate this form to create a new form, right? And then delete the old one. Or you can use the same one, okay? The same one, and then roll it out to the public, send an invitation. And then on the forms results, just delete those answers that are just test ans on test mode. So you can actually delete them by clicking on this checkbox and delete them, mainly because they're just test. So that's how you can actually test the survey. Okay, let's share it again. So any other questions? Okay, I see that we don't have any. Oh, we have some questions in here. Okay, for the vote feature, can people vote without having access to the member portal? Yes, you can share the link, okay, on the vote modules, surveys and votes. Again, on the setup tab, an example, this annual vote, okay. You go to access and then list public link, grab this link and make this vote form available outside of the member portal, like in your public site, or send it to an email. And then they can actually cast the votes without the need to log into the member portal. That's a good question. Okay. Is there a limit to the number of times a vote, survey or vote forms can be filled out and submitted? If it's outside of the member portal, the system cannot actually control who actually already submitted the form. But within the member portal, if someone already submitted the survey, the system will actually show them that they already submitted the survey. If I go again to my member portal and I go to the forms tab, go to forms, and here you go. It shows the date that I submitted the survey, and the system will not allow me to take that survey or vote anymore. But if it's submitted outside of the member portal, they can access that link over and over again. That's the only downside of making it public, is they can cast multiple times their vote or surveys. Okay. Is there a way to send the form inside the newsletter? Yes, there is. Again, using those links, either the link within the member portal, this link that has that page that gives out the older forms. We recommend doing this. That way, on your report, you will have an accounting as to who took the survey, or the public link. But then again, you'll have to deal with the reports once they access the survey and the public link. It will be anonymous, and at the same time, they can always go to complete that form repeatedly as well. Okay. Is there a way to be anonymous within the Member 365 system? Then yes, use the vote form instead. They're identical. They're identical. It's just that we called it a vote form. That way, the results of the report will be anonymous. If you want to conduct a survey that you're wishing that you won't be able to see who completed it, even within the member portal, then use the vote form instead. Okay? These are great questions. Thank you so much. If you have other questions that think of after this webinar, please use our help desk team. You can submit a ticket or engage us in the chat forum. Our chat team is open 9 a.m. till 4 p.m. Monday to Friday Eastern Standard Time, or a Zoom call if your subscription allows you for premium support. Hop in on Zoom call. Love to meet every one of you. And then, yeah, we can discuss any of your questions regarding surveys and votes, or any module within Member 365. And we request all our clients and attendees to visit our website, member365.com. Below the page is the webinar. Under at the bottom of the page, webinars, our future webinars. Please register to future webinars. Again, thank you so much for attending this webinar. Have yourself a great afternoon.